Hey, everybody out there in Cryptid land. Tonight we have Chris Tyler on with us, and I'm going to tell you right now what he's going to describe. You ain't going to know because I don't know, but it's surely creepy. And let's find out together tonight on the Cryptid Quest Podcast. Hey, everybody out there in Cryptid land. We have Chris Tyler with us tonight. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing outstanding. How you doing today, Patrick?
I'm not doing bad at all. Looking forward to hearing your encounter you
Oh,
have to share with us tonight. I was just going to say, so you told me before, but the people will want to know, and it's really strange. So why don't you lay it out for us?
well, I've had several different ones in my life. There's one main one I guess I could get to eventually. First,
save that one for last.
yeah, I'll do that one last.
All right.
But when I was around 12 and a half, I think I saw like a Bigfoot. Well, that one was like I got like a telescope for Christmas, and I was up my tree fort, and I live in Michigan, so I was looking out in this field, looking at birds and stuff, and then out of the thick forest came what I thought was a Bigfoot, and it like stopped in the middle of the field and was like staring at me. It was probably I don't know 100 yards away, give or take. But then it like seen me and started walking toward me. And I freaked out and I jumped down from my tree fort and ran and got the babysitter.
I don't blame you.
And then as I was running toward my house, I heard there was like an open field, and then on the other side there was a busy road, and I heard cars honking at it and stuff. So and then I went out there the next day with my buddies, and there was big footprints in the moss and all that. And my dad's like, "You sure it wasn't a bear?" I'm like, "No, bears don't run like that,
No.
So,
yeah, that sounds pretty legit.
That was, it was pretty freaky. I don't know, it could have been a college kid in a costume, but I doubt it. What are you doing in the middle of the woods running out? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And knowing that you're going to be there right that point in time.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So that was one.
Yeah.
And then when I was 17, we used to go on all these old abandoned houses and stuff like that. And, there was like a piano thing, like an old piano, and it like played notes. And there was nobody in there. It was kind of weird. And
that's way weird.
Yeah. My buddy and I used to go check out old houses and stuff like that. And there was a legend about some sisters who had been cheating on their significant other with the sister, and one lived up on a hill, and they came down and killed him with an axe or something like that. And both houses were abandoned. And so we checked them both out, and the one had like an empty piano in it or whatever, and in the house, and we were there, and it started playing notes, and we freaked out and took off. And then there was like a shadow figure in the window.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, it was pretty creepy, man.
Yeah.
And then of course there's UFOs. Seen a couple of those. I think
what were the circumstances that the UFOs came in on?
Yeah. One was during the day. We had a farm out there in Michigan there, and it was during the day, and my mom was out feeding the horses, and looked up in the sky, and there was a cylinder object up there, and it was like a jet, and it was like toying with it. You know what I mean? Like it'd take off, and it was just playing with it. Like it didn't, like it couldn't touch it. You know what I mean? It was just, it was weird, man. It was doing these cool, crazy maneuvers, and the jet was just trying to catch up to it and couldn't do it. We were watching this for like 20 minutes.
Holy cow.
Right in the middle of the day. Yeah, it was crazy. And then I had one when I was in the military. I was in the military like 9.5 years.
Well, thank you for your service.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Yeah. I loved it. It was awesome. But we're at Fort Irwin, California out there, and I was on night watch, and we had night vision goggles, and we'd watch something shoot between the mountains, which were like 80 miles apart, and it shoot from one mountain to the other mountain in like a second, and we're just watching it and kind of freaking out a little bit.
I saw something similar once where I was just watching this jet across the sky super fast, come to a complete stop and then go the other direction. So I think I saw something similar to what you're talking about. I
Yeah.
saw going back and forth. You said it was going back and forth like that?
Yeah, just between mountains, and it did it in like a fraction of a second.
Yeah.
I'm talking 80 miles, probably.
Crazy.
The mountains are really far apart, but at the desert out there, you can see it clear as day. And this
Yeah.
thing with night vision goggles, we'd watch it, and it was crazy, man. This guy was freaking out. We were on night watch, and one of those stories, man.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the thing about your story is, if this was 50 years ago and people saw something like this, they'd all say they're crazy. Nowadays, everybody's like, well, they exist. So
Yeah.
you're not crazy.
Yeah,
They do
yeah.
exist.
They're a lot more common now. You see a lot more, a lot more
Yeah.
people talking about it now, which is a good thing, I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Other than that, I guess I got the big guy. Yeah, that one's that one's a mystery, man. I have no idea what it was that I saw, and I don't know. I guess I've been a little nervous and hesitant to kind of put it out there because I don't know if anybody else has seen anything like it before, and if it's really difficult to describe. I guess I could give it a shot, but
yeah. You sent me a picture.
yeah. I had like a artist that I got through the Cryptid website or whatever that could do like a rendition of what I saw, and I had
Yeah.
original thing that I did that's made up real quick, and then she kind of took what I said and then made it herself.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's the actual thing was somewhere between both of them, to be honest. It was not as extreme as hers, but not as vague as
Okay.
mine. So it was
I
somewhere in
was
the middle.
wondering. So
Yeah.
man, I'm trying to pull them up on my phone, but my phone's of course not cooperating with me right now.
It happens, man. It's okay. I was I was living in Tennessee at the time when this happened. Basically, like, on my way to band practice, and I go by this old house every day. I fixations with old houses and stuff.
Yeah.
So I always wanted to stop by and check it out. So every time I drove by, I always look at it. And there was this.
Here, let me pause you for a minute.
Okay.
I pulled it up on my phone. I don't know how well this is going to show up to people. That's the one. Is that the one you drew or one she
That's
drew?
the one I made. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That's the most realistic looking one. Yeah, hers. It looks similar to that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Man.
It's
nuts.
like I said, people are gonna think I'm nuts.
No, I don't think you're nuts. I'm just saying nuts because I'd crap my pants.
Well, I didn't even realize what it was. I'm just driving my truck to band practice like I always did. I played in a band in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And it was like dusk. It was like I want to say 2005, 2006, something like that. It wasn't dark enough yet, but it was dark. And that house, I was approaching on it, and there was a big open field behind it. And what I thought was a huge tumbleweed, like, coming toward the road. That's what I thought it was, like a giant tumbleweed. And as it got closer, I looked at the house, and there was one exactly like it on the left-hand side of the house. So I thought, well, maybe this thing broke loose from the other side of the house. It matched, and maybe that was what was happening, and it was coming in the road. Well, as I got closer, I started slowing down because I realized that it was moving in a very strange way. Like, there was a ditch, and it kind of floated or glided across the ditch. And then it just stopped right in the middle of the road, and I slammed on my brakes, and it was a good, I don't know, 8 feet from my truck. That was where it was at.
Holy cow, that's close.
And yeah, man, it was real close. And I had my headlights on. It wasn't dark enough, but headlights were on, and it stood there, and I looked at it, and I was like, what the hell is that? And it had a face. Like, it had a face. At first, I thought it was like a bush or like, sticks and twigs. It almost looked like thorns. But it had a face. It had like reddish yellow eyes, and it had a definite mouth, and it was kind of heavy breathing, like you would see like a Street Fighter character or something before the fight. How they're breathing, kind of like it was doing that, and it was just staring at me, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" And I was in shock, and it must have stared at me, and we stared at each other for about 20 seconds or so, 30 seconds. It seemed like way longer than that. Also, it seemed like way less time. And I don't know if it was sizing me up or trying to figure out what I was doing. I have no idea, but I froze in the moment, of course, and
Yeah.
back then I had a flip phone. I could have took a crappy picture of it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah, and then it just kind of finished going across the street and glided across the other ditch. When I say glided, it almost floated,
Yeah.
and then it just kind of disappeared into the field and went off into the woods.
Holy cow.
Yeah, man, it was freaking tough, man.
Yeah.
Uh, I was hesitant to tell this story because I mean it was probably 7 foot tall.
Wow.
I had a Toyota Tacoma at the time, and it was definitely towering over the top of my truck. And
Yeah.
it was wide. It was a lot like that picture.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the way it moved, man, it almost didn't seem. It didn't seem real. It's
Yeah.
really weird, and I have no idea what it was. I don't know. Um, People have said something about maybe Sasquatch, and they kind of do kind of like the Predator, where they can kind of blend in with their surroundings and stuff. I don't, I don't think it was that. I don't know. All I
Yeah.
know is that it moved like nothing I've ever seen, and it
Yeah.
definitely didn't care about me. It didn't care about the truck. It wasn't intimidated. It wasn't scared. It was sizing me up and wondering what I was gonna do. And uh, yeah, I don't know, man.
You-
I've thought
Well,
about it for 20 years now, and I have no idea what it was.
well, I can honestly tell you, you got me stumped. This is something I don't think I've ever heard of or seen before. The first thing that came to my mind when you started explaining it was my mind immediately went to Bigfoot. I'm like, maybe a Bigfoot like threw some branches or something on itself, but I
No,
don't
but
know.
the way it moved, it wasn't running. You know what I mean? It
That,
wasn't touching. It wasn't almost like touching the ground. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like it floated. That's why I thought it was like a tumbleweed because of the way it was moving.
yeah,
And then when it stopped in the middle of the road, it definitely had facial features of it. Yeah, a lot like the picture she drew. It had definite yellow reddish eyes and a nose that was very blended in with what it was trying to be.
so
Almost
yeah, I was gonna ask. So you said there was a discernible nose and eyes.
correct. Yeah.
Were there any discernible limbs, like arms or
Yeah.
legs that you could see?
It you know, it did, but it wasn't like arms and limbs you see like with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was all
Uh-huh.
part of the disguise or whatever it was. It was sticks or like branches or something like that that would, I guess, if you could call it that, it would be arms and legs.
Yeah.
But then again, it wasn't running on the ground. It floated. It just floated, man. Like I said, it floated across the ditch like it was underneath a breeze. There was a giant fan or like a hovercraft would do. It very
Uh-huh.
similar to like a hovercraft. And then in the road, it just stopped. And like I said, it was breathing heavily and just staring at me.
Oh,
And
dude.
yeah,
Yeah,
some, some weird
I'm
stuff, man.
like,
I get chills thinking about it. Like,
I
man,
don't doubt it. You're giving me chills because
yeah.
I saw those pictures and I can't even imagine what I would do or where my mind would go in that situation.
I went to band practice and I told my bandmates, and they're like, "What?" And then they're like freaking out about it too. And then we just jammed out, and we
Yeah.
kept on our evening. But every time I went by that house after that, I looked at it and I noticed that there was only one bush still. So I don't know if maybe it was standing by the house and maybe copied that bush and then went, onto the
Oh,
road from there, or what it did. But um, all I know is that what I saw, I've never seen anything like it since, and I have no idea. I've looked the
yeah.
internet everywhere for it, and
Oh man.
there's stuff kind of similar to it, but not it. So I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
hoping this reaches out to people, and maybe they've seen something similar to it, and they can maybe help us explain what the hell it was.
Yeah, I would love to hear of another encounter like this, just kind of maybe get a little, I mean, you got some great details for as quick as it was and
I
I'm
mean, when you
sure
see something like that, man, it burns in your head.
I can
And
imagine.
I've seen other people talk about things, and I want to let you know that I have honor, integrity. I was military, and I have zero desire to even. I didn't really want to talk about this, but
Yeah.
I want to know that somebody else seen it, and that I'm not crazy, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
And
and honestly, when you even if somebody didn't see this particular thing, You
Yeah.
know, you even just talking about it and being brave enough to come out here and say, hey, that kind of stuff helps other people, because there's people that have seen other crazy things that they don't think
Yeah.
anybody else has saw,
Yeah.
and they don't want to tell people. But you know, it helps. It helps, and it helps you because you know you're getting this off your chest a little bit.
Yeah,
And
I keep going back to that moment in the truck where we're having like the stare down, and I wonder, what happens if I would have got out of the truck? What happens if I would have took a picture of it? What happens if I
yeah,
would have hit it? You know what I mean? And
yeah,
not stopped.
yeah,
I all these what if situations go in my head, and I'm glad it went the way it went, because it could have went a lot different.
yeah.
Uh, but I don't know if I would have just tried getting out of my truck and talking to the thing, if it even could talk. I don't know, but it was very intimidating when you see something that's 6.5, 7 feet tall, and it looks like what it did, and it had eyes like it did, and a face like it did, and it floated like it did. You don't really want to get out of your truck.
No,
you know?
no. I
So
think I would have done the exact same thing you did, except for maybe put it in reverse.
yeah. I don't know, man. That, like I said, that moment's been in my head for 20 years now. So,
So when you were coming up on it, about how fast were you going?
uh, it's I sent you the exact coordinates of it. It was on Franklin Road in Tennessee.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was 96 Old Franklin Road in Tennessee, and I think the speed limit there is, I want to say 45, something like that.
Okay, so you just kind of cruising along.
Yep, cruising
Did
along
you
45, and then I saw it out of my, you know,
peripheral?
peripherals, and then I was like, "What is that?" And like I said, I thought it was a tumbleweed, man.
And
And
then did you start slowing down at that
yeah,
point?
yeah, because I
Okay.
was like, "God, that's a big ass tumbleweed! Like, that thing's huge! Like, why? What is that?" And then to see it kind of float across the ditch like that, that's when I slammed on my brakes. I was like,
Yeah.
"Whoa!" Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I'd say the whole encounter maybe lasted maybe a minute and a half, from the time I thought I saw it in my peripherals slowing
Uh-huh.
down, and then it standing in front of me, and then watching it take off,
Yeah.
and all that. But I would do anything to be able to play my brain and play that memory, like somehow put it on an SD card and put it on a projector and show you exactly what
Ooh.
I saw. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome, and I hope one day
Yeah.
that technology exists.
Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, because
It would really be nice.
yeah, because I often just I got the same thing going on with the encounter the Bigfoot encounter I had. It's like I remember what I heard, but I want to hear it again, and
Yeah.
I want other people to hear it, you know. And I hear recordings that sound like it, but I want to hear exactly what I heard that night. And I'm sure, like you probably want to see or show exactly what you saw.
Yeah, I had my windows down. It's obviously Tennessee, and it was autumn, but down there it's still 70s,
Yeah, yeah.
and so all I heard was like crackling. That's
Huh.
the like if you're in the woods and you hear sticks being stepped on or something. That's
Yeah.
kind of what it was doing.
Wow.
It didn't
I
have
wonder if I wonder if that was from its movement or something.
maybe what it's cloned, or I have no idea, man. I was
That well,
and
and that's
And after that, the house is gone now. The house is completely gone. They leveled the area. It looks way different now than it did back then. Sadly, I was hoping the house would still be there. I looked on Google Earth and
yeah.
checked out modern day, and it's totally different now. So,
Oh, okay.
but
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
man,
what are you
quite the
gonna do?
experience.
Yeah, yeah. So, oh man, I'm still trying, because when you're telling me about this, I'm like, what could it? I'm still trying to, like, what could it be? What possibly could it be? I mean, shapeshifter of some type, but why would a shapeshifter turn into a bush?
Yeah,
You know?
like of all things,
Yeah,
the only thing you think of is like the Predator and how the movie blends in with his surroundings and stuff. And maybe he saw the car coming and just replicated the bush that was there and was moving across. And maybe they don't know. I don't know, man. There's
yeah.
a lot of things. I could do what ifs all day with this thing, but
I know you could. Yeah,
and it makes me wonder, why it was hanging out at that particular spot, and why that bush and why at that exact moment. I go through that a lot too. Like, I was lucky to be there at the time and to be able to experience that, but I wish I knew what it was.
what time of the year was it?
It was autumn, like I want to say
Autumn.
September, October. You know, uh, 2005, 2006, somewhere in there.
That's my
I
favorite.
want to say 2005.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite time of the year for crazy stuff is
Oh
October,
yeah, man.
September.
Yep.
It was
It's in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee, man. It was like I said, it was Franklin Road, and I was on my way to Almaville, which is a tiny little town with one gas station in it.
yeah.
We used to play out there at this trailer out there, and our singers lived in like old abandoned church, and we'd jam out there, and we'd have ghost experiences out there with that stuff too, like because it was an old cemetery back there, and in Tennessee back in the day, there was a lot of trials and things like that happened back then, and some strange stuff happened at the trailer as well. So just overall, that whole time period of my life, with all the music and all the cool experiences and all that stuff, I'll treasure that forever.
Yeah. So when you told your buddies about it, did any of them like mention that possibly they may have seen something else weird or something or anything like that, or were they just like, holy shit?
They're kind of holy shit, but down there in Tennessee, there was always talk about Pigman. Pigman was the thing.
Yeah, you hear about Pigman a lot. Was that in that area?
We heard him one night out there. We're jamming in the trailer, and we heard like a loud squeak, squall kind of thing. We all took off to the house. I don't know what it was. It could have been a possum getting stepped on. You don't know. But
you don't know.
No, they didn't never. I guess they didn't. They've never experienced anything like that. So I told them about it, and they're like, "Whoa, that's weird." And then I kind of drew a little picture of it, I think, for them and showed them what I saw, and like, "Whoa, man, that's crazy." Then we went back and during the day, obviously, and walked by the house, and obviously nothing there. It was floating, so I'm like, "There's gonna be tracks,"
Yeah.
Crazy. So.
Yeah. My mind is just like I don't know what box to put that in. It's so out there.
Well, I know there's like shapeshifters and there's things like that, and then people talk about what are those things that the cryptids that imitate people and they call out to them and stuff like that.
You talking about doppelganger or no?
No,
not doppelganger.
Not a doppelganger.
They mimic people.
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about the like pugwudgie? No, not a pugwudgie. Pugwudgies don't do that.
Well, it's just like they imitate people screaming, or like they'll call somebody's name and then they'll get them, lure them out there and kind of stuff. Like, I mean, I don't know what those things look like.
I know, I can't think of it right now either.
Yeah.
But I will tell you one thing. So I did an interview with the lady. It hasn't aired yet, but I did an interview 2 weeks ago with the lady who she got an open mind, more open mind than most people. And she was talking about elementals and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And how the elementals can take different forms. They can be around us at any time, and we just can't see them. And honestly, that's kind of where my brain keeps going to, because it seemed like it was very nature oriented.
Yeah.
The way it was, and the way she always described, or the way she described the elementals, is they were all like part of nature. And so I wonder. I'll contact her and ask her about that, and then I'll let you know what she says. But that thought just popped in my head, because that's honestly what it sounds more like to me than anything else I can think of.
I tried Googling it and looking it up, looking up tree creatures, stick creatures, bush creatures, things like that. There was one video I saw on YouTube where somebody was in the woods and it looks like a face in a tree and it's like moving a little bit. But again, this wasn't a tree. It was just imitating like almost like a dead thorn bush. That's the best way to describe it. Like a brown dead thorn bush with all the stuff in woe. Like the thing I sent you is pretty accurate, but it had eyes and a face. And yeah, man, I don't know. I would love to figure out some answers and see if anybody else has had anything even remotely close to this, or
well,
the only one that saw it, or
if anybody contacts me, or hell, anybody contact him. He's on Facebook. That's how I got a hold of him, Chris Tyler.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That'd be awesome. Just to get some answers, man. Even if there's one other person that seen something similar to it, that'd be great. Just so I can have some kind of conversation with this person and be like, man,
Conversation, a little bit of closure or something.
yeah,
Actually, I've got another guy I'll reach out to for you. He's really, really big into the cryptids, and he's writing books on Native Americans and all their cryptids and everything, and all their beliefs and things. And that,
nice.
for some reason, to me, that almost sounds like it would be a Native American thing, that like they might know because they've got so many. So,
Yeah.
like another example is I interviewed a lady who had seen a deer come out of the woods, but it had a human face.
Whoa.
I know. I'm like, that's nightmare fuel. That is nightmare
Yeah.
fuel. And
Wow.
and I'm like, so I asked him about it, and he actually dug up a Cherokee legend about a deer woman. And
Mm.
I'm like, really? She'd have the body of a deer and the head of a human. And I'm like,
Wow.
that's yeah. So I mean, there's I bet you there's something out there. I just got to do a little digging to find it.
Yeah, like
So
Greek mythology with the half man, half horse stuff, Pegasus and
yeah,
all that,
and
you
the
know.
thing is, all that stuff has a foothold in reality. I believe. You may
Yeah, I
think
think
I'm crazy.
it had to stem
Yeah,
from somewhere. At some
yeah,
point there might have been something like that or something close to that or, some story that grew into what it is.
yeah,
I don't, you
100%,
never know. But
100%.
yeah, the only other thing I could think of as far as any other stories that I had, it was when I was a kid, also around the same age that I had the Bigfoot thing with my tree fort. I remember waking up in the middle of the night and I looked out my window and there was like a head. Uh, I want to say it kind of looked like an alien, like an alien head in the window. And and I have this still in my head, the image of it opening the window shade and being scared and terrified because there was like a head of an alien in the window.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, that was freaky too. Um, I'm not trying to throw my credibility out in any way, shape, or form, but I don't know. I'm trying to get it
No,
all out. You
no,
know,
get it out, man. I
get it
mean,
all out, man.
well, the thing is, you're not the only person that's had more than one encounter. And just because you've had more than one encounter with something different, that because I mean, I have too. I've not seen an alien, but I've seen UFOs, I've seen ghosts, I've seen you know lots of stuff. But
Yeah,
just because you see more, it's when, and I don't even want to. It's when you're trading Bigfoot garlic for back rubs or something that things start to get crazy. And
yeah,
and I don't even want to call them people liars because you know what, I don't know. But
yeah. You never know, man. I just, it could have been some college kid in a costume, but back then they didn't have costumes that looked that good, man. Not like they do now. You know what I mean? Like I could
no,
see it now if somebody wore something like that with all the prosthetic stuff and all the,
yeah,
latex and all that. But
I'll I'll take just about any alien story and call it legit at this point in my life, just because so much is coming out about it that the government
yeah,
knows.
that whole
And
three eye atlas thing. You know about that?
maybe good.
It's just like the giant comet coming. They think it's a comet,
Oh,
but
yeah.
yeah,
They
yeah,
they they say some. Yeah, but actually, the guy I interviewed last week, we talked about it because I
yeah,
mean, I'm not privy. I don't, well, not I'm not. I don't didn't know the name, and now you just refreshed it again for me. But
yeah.
yeah,
I
we
think
talked
it's
about that.
three eye
What they
atlas or something like
what
that.
they what they call it? Organic something, organic mass coming at us or something.
Yeah, it's huge. It's supposed to be like the size of like LA or something like that, and it's going ridiculously fast. And it's supposed to be coming close to Jupiter and coming close to like three planets, and then behind the sun. And then that'll be the time that it could possibly stop or halt or something like that, and then we wouldn't be able to see it or about the time it's supposed to leave our solar system. It's an interstellar object. This is
Yeah, that's it.
the third one.
Interstellar.
This is the third one that's happened.
Yeah.
And the other two were huge, like asteroids, I think, or comets or something like that. But this is supposed to be the biggest one, and it's pretty crazy, man, to know that in a couple months we'll know exactly what it is or what it isn't. But the fact that it's been going that fast and the percentage of the trajectory is ridiculous, man. Like it's like 0.01% or something like that that's on the trajectory, to go by 3 planets and come exactly where it's at and avoid everything. And that's pretty cool to me.
That is pretty cool. And I might be getting this wrong. Don't quote me, but I'm almost positive that guy told me that they've actually detected it making some course changes.
Whoa. I don't know about that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that don't quote me on it, people. Watch last week's episode.
Yeah.
But I think that's what he told, because I was getting into it. I told him I wanted him to come back on because we talked about other stuff, but we touched on that right at the end.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh shit, I got to get you back on. We got to talk about that more, because by then we done ran out of time."
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's like either we're alone, which is a scary thought, or we're not alone, which is equally as scary. You know what I mean? And if it does end up being something other than just a comet or an asteroid or something, that'd be awesome. But even if it doesn't, it's something that came from other galaxies. It's been going forever. Who knows how long.
I know who I'll talk to it about. Who I'm interviewing next week.
Oh yeah, nice.
She's written 3 books on it, or 2 books. She's an abductee.
Okay.
Lifelong. Yeah, lifelong.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, man, I listened to her encounter. I believe her 1,000%. I've actually interviewed 2 abductees, and both of them very, very similar stories. The big difference was the one lady was like okay with it. She's like, "Well, there's nothing I can do about it. You're going to be taking me," and blah blah blah. She just tried to. But the other one was like, "F you, no way," blah blah blah. But they did it anyway. And so it's 2 different views from these ladies. But the one I'm interviewing again, she says she has communications with them, like cordial communications.
Whoa.
With her abductors and stuff. She don't like being called an abductee. I forget what the hell she likes being called, but it's not abductee, because she's like
a chosen one or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So
when I was a kid, I always wanted to be abducted and stuff. Until I saw the movie Fire in the Sky. You ever see that movie?
Yeah.
With Travis? Yeah. That freaked me out, man.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, some of the stuff these ladies have told me freaks me out. It's like what they've actually seen other people on the ship at the same time as them, and stuff being done to them. And she's like, "I know," and I'm like, and none of it sounds good. I mean, they're not brushing your hair or giving you a manicure.
Yeah.
Sticking needles up places they ain't supposed to be.
Yeah, nobody wants that done, man.
No.
I know there's been a lot of whistleblowers lately and stuff like that, talking about things like that. And it's been interesting. I listen to Joe Rogan's podcast sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
He has a lot of people on there, Bob Lazar and all that,
Yeah.
And I listen to all his stuff. And he had that, I want to say he was like a colonel who came out and blew the whistle on that stuff and started talking about it, and the Tic Tacs and all that, UFOs and all that stuff. So that stuff's always fascinated me, man. Yeah. I always probably will have that too. Just the whole cryptid in general, just all the stuff. If you think about it, we have 5 senses, and we can't see as good as an eagle, we can't hear as good as a dog, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, who's to say what all stuff is here that we can't feel 100%. Or see or hear, or some other perceptive that we don't even have,
100%. Yeah.
Well, and that kind of tunes me into where I was at with that figure that I saw, man, with the bush. Like, what is that? Like, why? I think maybe I'm going back to that, but I'm sticking stuff on here on Earth that can clone stuff, like octopuses and chameleons and things like that. You know what I mean? And actually mimic the environment around it. And that's very much what it did.
Yeah.
But I was on a 6-foot level, you know what I mean? Like that.
Wow. I don't know that I've seen a 8 foot tall tumbleweed before.
Yeah. My guess is between 6 and 7 foot. That somewhere in there, it was that big, and probably a good 3-4 foot wide.
Yes.
You know,
God.
so
Ah.
freaky, man. Freaky
It
stuff.
is freaky. You just every time you talk about it, I just shaking my head. I'm like, so it is okay. I got another good question. Well, this has got to be an obvious no. You couldn't see all the way through it.
You know,
Or
as
could
weird
you?
as it was, it almost, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, it almost had sort of like organs. But they were not like organs like us. Like it was
Yeah.
very camouflaged in with what it was trying to be. But you could all it was not transparent, but it was a little translucent. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like it was you couldn't see through it like to the road behind it, but you
Uh-huh.
could see through what you know, the sticks weren't everywhere,
Okay.
the branches weren't everywhere, and then
Yeah.
those spots were dark. And then the dark spots you could definitely see some type of stuff that didn't
I got
belong
you.
there. Yeah.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah, if that makes
That's
any sense.
why. Yeah, no, it does make sense. But that's why I was curious because I'm like because I'm the whole time here. I'm trying to envision, and with your pictures and with what you're discussing, I'm trying to go to where you were, and I'm seeing. I'm like he could probably see through part of the way. I wonder how far. So that made me think. Well, how solid was it? And if you're saying
I wouldn't want to pick a fight with this thing. I know that
no,
much.
yeah,
No, I wasn't
yeah.
trying to do that, man. You know, I'm
No,
6'2" and I was in the army and stuff like that, but I wouldn't touch this thing, man.
no,
Nope, no, thank you.
I don't think I would wanted to pick
No,
a fight with it either. But
no, man.
I was curious because I don't care if I could see all the way through it. I'm still going in reverse.
Yeah,
So
I was frozen, man, and just in disbelief. I kept saying, "What the hell is that?" Pardon my French, but you know, a little more colorful word than that. But
yeah,
it was, I just stared at it, man. I was in disbelief and shock, and I honestly was terrified too much to move or too much to do anything other than just look at it and keep repeating, "What
yeah,
the hell is that? What the hell is that?" You know, and
yeah.
yeah, before I knew it, I don't know if I broke eye contact or it broke eye contact or what, but I think it just realized I wasn't gonna do anything, so it moved about its way. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know, man. Freaky stuff.
Wow, it is freaky.
Yeah,
Oh,
like I said, I wish there was some way to play that for you on some kind of screen or whatever. The best I could do is what I talked about and
yeah.
described to your artist there, and she was a really. I wish I remembered her name. It was so long ago now. But she was in the
Is it
cryptid group, and
is
she
it
took
Sue
her time and
Walker?
drew me. What's that?
Sue Walker?
Yep, that might be her actually.
Yeah, I think I sent her your way.
Yeah, she was awesome, man. She
Yeah,
drew like 4 or 5 different versions of it. I'm like, no, it needs a little more here, a little more there, and do this with it. And she'd send me back different versions
yeah.
until we got as close as we could get, you know. And like I said, it's a good mixture between what I had originally and what she had, and kind of somewhere in the middle.
I
You know,
got
that's
you.
the
I
best
got
way to
you.
describe it. So,
Well, it's great work by the both of you. You're actually a good artist too
oh,
because
thanks, man.
I can't even draw a stick figure, and yours is made out of all sticks.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I used to make our band flyers and stuff like that back in the day, and help
Oh,
do
there
that
you
kind of
go.
stuff, and did that. So yeah, that's where I got the
Very
little bit of
cool.
paint skills I have.
Awesome. Well, it looked good,
Yeah,
man. And
thanks.
I got more nightmare fuel. Thanks.
You're welcome, man. It's been great
Oh,
coming on here. I guess
yeah.
if you have any more questions or anything like that, like I said, I would really love if somebody else had something similar that they could maybe get a hold of me or get a hold of you, or maybe, you know, we could get us together and talk about it. Or, you know, I didn't come forward about this for 20 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I didn't want people to think I was a little crazy, you know, but
No, you ain't
I
crazy, man.
some stuff you just can't explain, you know. And
No, I
that was
got
one
you.
of the things in my life that I will never be able to explain unless hopefully somebody can come along and be like, "Hey, man, I saw the exact same thing and it was floating too." And you know,
Yeah.
it did the breathing thing like that, and you know, freaked me out. I was like, "Oh,
I'll,
cool, thanks, I was there." You know,
I'll almost bet there's somebody else out there. We just got to
I hope
find
so.
them. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Chris, it's been a freaking blast having you on, man.
thanks,
Is there
man. Appreciate
anything
it.
you want to anything you want to promote? I don't know if you got anything you promote or anything.
No, I have a home theater. I do stuff with
Okay.
that. We do movies reviews are us on Instagram. That's kind of
Oh,
cool.
okay.
And then I do stuff with gaming. I have Nintendo Switch and all the gaming stuff, so I usually do stuff with that with my graphic designs and stuff. A lot of it Nintendo related. Um, but other than that, no, I just play guitar and do some video games and live life, man, and hope to see more cryptid kind of stuff,
Heck yeah. All
So
right. Love that answer.
all
Well,
right,
thanks for coming on with us tonight, Chris. And
appreciate it,
everybody
man.
out there, oh yeah, no problem, man. No problem. It was good. We waited a long time for this one. I'm glad we
Yeah,
got it.
yeah, me
Everybody
too.
out there in Cryptid Land, keep it creepy. All right. Yeah, there you go.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, out in the woods where the shadows creep. I'm trying to find a legend that the people keep. Bigfoot's the name, got a story to tell. Footprints in the mud, can't you hear the bell? Whispers in the night, can you feel that chill? Bigfoot on the run, he's a legend, keep it real. Bigfoot, yeah, he's the talk of the town. Creeping through the trees, never wearing a frown. Legend of the forest, he's got a big stride. As the trap beats thump, you know he's got pride. Like I'm on a quest, searching for the homie, you know he's the best. Got my camera ready, heightened senses on blast. Snap a shot of Sasquatch, legend unsurpassed. Eyes in the dark, you can't catch what you can't see. King of the woods, living wild and free. Bigfoot, yeah, he's the talk of the town. Creeping through the trees, never wearing a frown. Legend of the forest, he's got a big stride. As the trap beats thump, you know he's got pride.